What is up, ShadowZone fans? This is your host, Brian James, and welcome to Friday night ShadowZone Paranormal Podcast. We have ourselves a great show tonight. We have Bobby Gallo, who is just a fantastic person, been in the paranormal field for over 20 years. A world-renowned magician, a musician, a best-selling author, you name it, this man has done it. Today, I wanted to let everybody know that we are now sponsored by D's Ghost. Jesse is phenomenal at building affordable equipment. If you use the promo code ParanormalEQ, you automatically get 10% off your very first order. This guy is phenomenal. Also, if you're looking for a platform and you're a paranormal investigator, a paranormal enthusiast, Bigfoot, mythological creatures, cryptozoology, UFOs, go to a platform called Parapost Network. It is drama-free. It is a phenomenal site, and you can find that at parapost.net, or you can go to the App Store, download the app. It works for Android, it works for SOS, Apple product, laptop, whatever you have, it will most definitely run it, and it is a great, great place to be. I highly recommend it. And before we bring Bobby out, I wanted to let you guys know that we do have an investigation coming up next weekend in Flagstaff, Arizona, and it will be, I'll show you guys some pictures here. Here's an old picture of it, and here's the new look to it. The Mystery Museum Club, and we'll be putting that up on YouTube as well as excuse me, hiccups, our introduction to Paraflix. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I can't wait for this guy. He is awesome in every way, shape, and form. The infamous Bobby Gallo.
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Oh man, I'm in massive amounts of pain, brother.
Oh,
But I am here. I am good. I have been looking forward to this podcast for quite a while now, and I'm finally glad it's here.
yeah, me too. Me too. And I got to tell you before we start, I absolutely love your new intro. I love your new platform that you're using to host these podcasts. It's like a world of difference just since the last one I did with you. I mean, really, I mean, this is a class act, man. You are doing it the
Well,
right way, my friend.
thank you very much, sir. I gotta, as much as I'd love to take all the credit for it, our buddy Eldon actually took care of all this. Since the last time we talked, we have taken the Spokane Ghost Crew. We've taken AZPRI, which was Eldon's team, and we've taken the Southwest Para Abnormal, which is Jason Graham's team,
Hmm.
and we've combined all three teams together
That's
to
awesome.
form the Global United Paranormal Foundation.
Very cool. Very cool.
Man, we're going to be doing some great things, Bobby.
I love it. I love it. I really do. I love to see progression. I love to see people making things happen, especially in this field. I mean, because um, too many people they kind of like stick their toe into the water, and then not too long afterwards they just give it all up. I mean, it's amazing because you and I are both on Twitter. And if I go back and I go through my list of contacts, paranormal contacts on Twitter, and you go into the profiles, it's amazing how many people haven't posted since like 2017 or something like that.
Right, right. Yeah, I was actually looking at that the other day. I was sending people invites to come watch the show. And I'm not kidding you. I sat there and I looked at it and I scratched my head, going, "Really? 2016?
Yep.
And you're still following me, man? I got to clean this out."
Yeah, I did the same thing. I'm saying I'm sorry, gotta go. Click.
So, my man Bobby, if you could, I know you're an amazing author. My wife and I are still fighting over who gets to read your book first. We've been kind of switching back and forth. Oh, I think she's asleep. I'm gonna take the phone. You get your hands off that phone. I'm reading. Damn it. Could you please tell us about your first book?
Sure, absolutely. Basically, and it's crazy because I cannot believe it's already 2022 and I published it in 2019, but it was the end of 2019, but it was still 2019. And this is the book right here. And it's Family Spirits, The Adventures and Evidence of Gallo Family Ghost Hunters by yours truly. And the book was actually written in response to our following who requested that I write a book explaining not only the investigations that you can actually see on our web series, but what happened behind the scenes on the web series, like what was the car ride like on the way home, all the things that you don't always see if you're just watching an episode. Also, a lot of my fan base, they're not involved in the paranormal. They're people that are interested in ghosts, and they don't know a lot of what we do in terms of our terminology, our equipment. And we have our own lingo. You and I can talk, and we're making perfect sense to each other. But if a person on the street is listening, they're going to get 50%. They're going to say, well, I know they're talking in English. That's about it. you know but when we start talking about EVP, AVP, ITC, all of these things that we use to communicate with these entities on an investigation, I discuss in my book. But and I, people can see on the web series, but they didn't fully understand it. So that's why I wrote Family Spirits. And so the first half is a paranormal primer so that people can actually learn about the paranormal, what is a ghost, the history of paranormal investigation and whatnot. And then the second half of the book is a walkthrough of all 60 episodes that we did right up until the publishing of that book. And they can, it's a great companion. So if they're watching the web series and they want to learn a little bit more about the episode, they can go to the book. Conversely, if they read the book and they read about the episode and they say, wow, I wish I could really see that happen, they can. They go to the web series and they watch the episode that they just read about. So it was great. When we published it in 2019, I'm going to be honest with you, Brian, I only thought I was going to sell maybe 100 copies, 200 copies to my close friends who are really asking me to write this book. Well, it turns out that it hit number 3 on Amazon in the adventure travel category. We sold more copies overseas than we did here in the United States, hundreds of copies in the United Kingdom alone. And it became like this phenomenon that I just wasn't expecting. Amazon kept running out of the book in their warehouses. They kept having to reorder the book. The only thing that I regret is that I don't know if you know anything about the book publishing business, but you can go exclusively Amazon, or you can go what they call go wide, which is you can also distribute through Barnes and Noble, Books A Million, which sounds really good. But the bottom line is Amazon now sells about 90% of all books in the world right now. And
Right.
if you stay specifically with Kindle, you could run Kindle specials, and basically people are selling literally millions of books this way. So I think that's basically what we're going to be doing with our second book, because we just we're working on our second book right now, and we're like really into it. So we may be going Amazon exclusive with the second book, but right now the first book, Family Spirits, is actually available everywhere. You can get it from Walmart on Walmart.com, Target. You can get it Barnes and Noble, Books A Million, Amazon. Um, Everybody who buys it usually loves it. I mean, there was one gentleman that was on your show the last time I appeared, and he bought the book. He just messaged me, wow, just a couple days ago, saying, "Man, I'm just loving this book." So, and I think it's because everything in the book is real. Everything in the book is genuine. There's no falsifying evidence. It's all the real deal. And at least from our perspective, I mean, look at, if something could be debunked, that's still on the table. I never say never, but from our perspective, everything is genuine paranormal evidence communication as we see it and as we experienced it. So yeah, that's a quick background of Family Spirits.
That is absolutely phenomenal, Bobby. Like I said, I've made it about 35% through because I keep having to pass the phone back and forth between me and my wife.
It's a big book. It's a big book. It's 300 pages. It's not a small book. I mean, it's
But
not.
I can promise you guys it is definitely worth the read. Well, Bobby, thank you for being a guest on our show. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Well, I got
Um,
my plug. I can't quick get the website. No,
right. What's the website? What's the website? So,
FamilySpiritsBook.com.
hey, there you go.
Or you just go to Amazon, honestly. Doesn't matter, really.
Speaking of websites, you mentioned a web series.
Yes.
Now, you were one of the original first 5 people to actually start a series on YouTube?
Well, it's basically like this. I mean, I've been investigating since 1990, and that's documented because episode number one of Gallo Family Ghost Hunters is the investigation I did back in 1990. And just a real quick note on that. Just recently, here on the East Coast, there's a magazine that's absolutely iconic. It's like legendary. It's called Weird New Jersey, and it started, and they have a website. And if you're from the East Coast, if you want to know anything paranormal about the area, you go to Weird New Jersey. And what they basically do is they take their magazines. It's such, they have such a cult like following that when people buy the magazine, they never throw them away. This is the one magazine that never gets thrown away. And even the company, what they do is every few years they'll take all the magazines and they'll publish it as a hardbound volume so people could buy it and put it on their bookshelf. So
Oh,
um
wow.
yeah, yeah. And they've also branched out. Now they're doing Weird New York, Weird Pennsylvania, and they go all around and they find the weirdest paranormal locations and they document it. Okay. So just over this little bit last year, I said it was about spring of last year. I get contacted by Weird New Jersey, and I'm like, wow. I mean, this is like bucket list stuff for me because if you're on the East Coast, to be part of this magazine, it's actually like being part of paranormal history because you're going to be there forever. You're going to be on somebody's
Yeah,
bookshelf forever.
kind of
So
like royalty, if you will.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So what did they want to know about? You'll never believe this. My very first investigation back in 1990. That's what they wanted to know about because this theater is still has paranormal activity that I investigated, and they wanted the backstory of the hauntings of the theater. So the owner of the theater pointed them to me. They call me. They did a 5-page spread in Weird New
Yeah.
Jersey on my very first paranormal investigation. That's never happened in the history of the magazine. Um, Having that large of a story on one investigation.
Congratulations, Bobby.
Yeah, it's
That's
very cool.
amazing.
Yeah, very, very cool. So, yeah, I've been doing it since 1990. You can actually see that investigation on our web series because it's episode number one. And, then, I took a break from the paranormal for a lot of years. And then I got married, I had a family, and my kids were about, 12 years old, somewhere around that age. And Ghost Adventures had just come out on TV. And my kids were just absolutely enthralled with the show. They absolutely loved it, and they had not known about my paranormal background at this point. I never had any reason to mention it because I wasn't doing it. When I started my family. So one day
Right.
we're sitting there and we're watching Ghost Adventures, and I turned to them and I said, "Hey kids, Daddy used to do that too," and the world just stopped. They were like, "No way! My parents aren't cool enough to do that." The kind of
My
thing.
dad can't be that cool.
Yeah, exactly. And then immediately they wanted to go ghost hunting, and that's what started it all. And they ended up being phenomenal ghost hunters. They all had psychic talents. Um, so what happened was I would film everything because that's just in my nature. I'm an entertainer, and I had a really great video camera. I said, we're going to film this. So I filmed it, and we started getting activity right off the bat. So what happened was I just put an episode on YouTube to show like family and friends, and all of a sudden, I don't know how it happened. We started getting tens of thousands of views. The video went completely viral. Completely viral. It was getting tens of thousands of views. And because at that time, you could count the people doing paranormal web series on one hand, and I think that's where you get the 5 people because it's true. Nobody was doing it. Nobody was doing it. There were the people on television shows. There were a couple people, PXP Paranormal, I think it was, a couple other people, and me. And I think it wasn't just the fact that it was paranormal, but it was the dynamic of the family who ghost hunts. People were really fascinated by that. And I said, you know what, this is a good idea for a web series. I said, people want to see this material, and my family had no intentions of stopping. So we started doing these episodes, and it became like this underground phenomenon. And we went all over the United States and some of the most haunted locations that you've heard of and never heard of. And that's how Gallo Family Ghost Hunters was born, and that was really what you could read about in the book.
That is just phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, I have my 8-year-old daughter who actually just asked me today, Daddy, when are you going to train me to be a ghost hunter? And, I've had my wife involved with me. I've investigated by her side, which was just the best feeling in the world.
Yep.
All of my investigators that are now with Global United, I consider my brothers, and I've investigated with them, even as far as my niece and my nephew, and there's no better feeling in the world than to investigate side by side with your family.
It's true. And you can keep them safe. You just have to take the precautions. Stay respectful during an investigation. If your daughter's out in a haunted location and she sees something cool that she wants to take home, don't do it. Don't take anything home because things can be haunted. No haunted items in your house. Exactly right. And don't ghost hunt in your home. That's very important because your home needs to be your sacred safe space. And you don't want to be, because, when you start ghost hunting in your home, you become a beacon and they start coming to you. And once they're there, sometimes it's tough to get them out. So when you're home, let that be your sacred safe space. Keep the investigation at the investigation. And anybody that's watching this at home, that's my number one rule. And my number one piece of advice to you is keep the investigation at the investigation.
Absolutely. So you've done so much in your young life. You're a paranormal investigator. You've been a magician, a musician. Have you ever rode a unicycle juggling chainsaws yet?
I'd fall right on my ass if I tried to do that. You know what? It's very funny. It's very funny. You should say that because I am very dexterous with my hands, but my hands only. The rest of my body, I am as klutzy as they come. I mean, it's honestly, I can't walk 2 feet without tripping over my own feet. So it's, so no, I don't ride a unicycle. I don't do any daredevil. Hey, look, you know what's funny? It's very funny because, a lot of people are daredevil. I know people that hang glide. I know people that skydive. I know people that rock climb and do all these crazy things. And would you know that none of those people would ever want to go on a ghost hunt? They're too terrified.
So people that can hang off of a piece of fabric in a bar tens of thousands of feet in the air.
Yep.
But going into a building that's haunted, it is too scary.
Absolutely. And you know what it's called? It's called phasmophobia. Phasmophobia, it's also called spectrophobia. And those basically, it's the fear of ghosts, and it's a primal fear. They say that the reason that people are afraid of wild animals, it's a primal fear. It's like, deep in our subconscious, we still remember being chased by the lion before it pounced on us and ate us. But that's a primal fear, the fear of the beast. But do you know that the fear of ghosts is also a primal fear? And those of us who are not afraid of ghosts, we're sitting at the big boy table. We're sitting at the grown-ups table, so to speak,
Right.
of life, because we can do things that, believe it or not, the majority of the public will not do. Will not do. You and I take it for granted, but most people, no way. They'll go into a haunted house because they know it's fake. But if they go into a real location and they start having a paranormal experience, all bets are off.
They're out the door.
They're done. They're done. So you know what? if you're a paranormal investigator, you're a ghost hunter, you are a very special person. And don't ever forget that.
You know, the thing I find comical are the people that try to run from these things. Because I hate to break it to you, but you can run from one end of the house to the other,
You're not
and I
outrunning anything.
guarantee you that spirit's gonna be right in front of you when you get there.
Like that. They could travel anywhere instantly. You can't outrun them.
Exactly.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, that's a great point. That's a great point. I mean, there's no use running. You can't outrun them. You can remove yourself from the location, um, but if they want to follow you, that's really effortless for them to do. That's why you have to take precautions. I mean, and I even mean like spiritual precautions too. I know, and I hate to get on my soapbox about this because some people just aren't spiritual. And I know a lot of ghost hunters who are atheists. I don't even know how that works, but a lot of people are. And they don't take precautions because they don't believe it. And more times than not, those are the people that end up having issues. So, but they don't know what the issues are. They don't know where the issues are coming from. But if they do, if they, had took some kind of precaution, they wouldn't have these problems.
Precisely. So I want to jump topic here real quick. I'm a huge fan of, Chris Angel and
Okay.
everything. I'd like to know a little bit about your career as a magician.
All right. Well, if you see up above my head here, I have my ghost hunting hat sitting on top of a top hat, kind of symbolizing my life right there. Um, I was a magician back in the late '80s, and I toured all over the world. I did cruise ships, colleges, trade shows. I was on television a whole bunch of times, and I had a whole lot more hair. Okay, just want to let everybody know
Yeah, I understand that one, buddy.
that. Hey, Tempest Fugit, time flies. But I used to do it full time, but the traveling got to be too much when I had a family, so I quit that. I still do it part time, and I'm basically a sleight of hand artist. I do a lot of uh, cabaret magic, sleight of hand magic. I don't do the big stuff. I don't like levitate women or things like that. Those are grand illusionists. And basically, there's not a lot of skill to that. You would think there is, but there really isn't. The skill is being able to do a good card or coin trick. That's where the skill is because it's right in front of the person, and there's no camera tricks, obviously. So you have to fool them being right in front of their face, and there's a lot of misdirection. And what's really cool about being a magician is it really dovetails into the paranormal. We're going way, way back into the days of Harry Houdini and Neville Mclnville, who used their knowledge as magicians to debunk fraudulent spiritualists back in the day when spiritualism was the real deal back then. But there were charlatans out there that saw the business that could be made by contacting the hereafter. So they were using magician's tricks to make believe that they were psychic. But there, I mean, I'm saying, I'm not discounting the real psychics out there because I know they exist. And even back then they did as well. But there were also people that were now taking advantage because even today, there are so many people out there that want to be psychic, but they're not, they don't, I mean, everybody has the talent to a greater or lesser degree, but some of these people are mind blowing, and I'll be talking a lot about those people in Family Spirits, my next book. But basically, to make a long story short, Houdini tried to debunk spiritualists as part of his show. So I thought it would be great to use magic to actually prove the paranormal. And what do you mean by that? Well, basically, I could rule things out. I could look at a piece of evidence as a magician, and if there's a way to falsify that evidence, I'm going to spot it. So then if I see that there's no way that evidence can be falsified, I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that into the real bucket, the bucket of phenomena, genuine psychic phenomena bucket. So I'm using my talents as a magician to actually prove the paranormal, whereas Harry Houdini and Neville Mascalini used it to debunk the paranormal. So it's a totally different dynamic, but that's where I am.
That is awesome. And I have to know, just from a magician standpoint, what was your favorite trick to perform?
I used to blindfold myself. I used to blind myself, put a hood on, and I would be able to tell people things that they're holding. Basically, I could do card tricks while I was blindfolded, but I always used to like that because I would get a lot of comedy byplay out of it, and the audience really enjoyed it too. Another one that I used to like was I had a blank gun. It looked like a real gun, and it had 22 caliber blanks in it. And I used to do a comedy bullet through playing card routine, and I had to stop doing it because, in the late 80s, early 90s, you could do just about anything on stage. You couldn't be too offensive, you couldn't be too funny. But one day I'm using this gun on stage with the spectator, and he freaked out because he thought it was real. And he got so scared that he threatened to sue me because I was using a fake gun, if you can believe it. So I stopped using it. I never did the routine again. I can't take that kind of a risk, even though I'm insured. I didn't want to take that kind of a risk of somebody suing me because they think I'm going to shoot them, which is ridiculous. But
absolutely,
there we are. That's the world we live in today.
Yeah, kind of a sensitive place, if you ask me.
Well, I'm waiting for people to start, saying, "Oh, you can't say ghosts are real because you can't prove it in your." Yeah, you know what? I don't care what you say. I have the evidence. I said, so. I mean, what more do you want? I could show you pictures. I could play you EVP. I could show you electronic evidence. You could watch my web series. If you read my book and watch my web series and you still don't believe my evidence is real, that's on you. But I'm not. I'm going to stand firm. This is the hill I'm going to die on, because I'm going to tell you something right now. Ghosts exist. I have the evidence. I wrote about it, and I will be writing about it again.
I have to know, you're writing a second book.
Yep.
Is there any intel you want to spill a little bit of the beans out to the public watching?
I have absolutely no problem at all. And here's the title. Guess what, Brian? You get a scoop. The first show, I'm going to tell everybody the title of the new book.
Yes,
all
I
right.
feel honored, Bobby.
Well, the first part of the title is not that exciting. It's Family Spirits 2, but the subtitle is Purpose and the Paranormal. So it's Family Spirits 2, Purpose and the Paranormal. And
I like it. That's very snazzy.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It's a book that I want to make a difference. Because in my first book, it was basically a paranormal primer and a walkthrough of our investigations. Now, in the second book, we are going to have a walkthrough of our newer investigations that were not talked about in Family Spirits. That's going to be the second part of the book again. But the first part is going to be a discussion of what's going on in the paranormal world today and what our purpose should be as paranormal investigators. Now, why is this an important topic? Well, it's like this. Right now, you look across the landscape today, and like we just discussed, you could count the number of people doing paranormal web series on one hand, and I was one of them back in the beginning. How many are there today? There's
millions.
I mean, thousands upon thousands of them. They're everywhere. They're on YouTube, Daily Motion, Rumble, Vimeo. I mean, you name it. They're literally everywhere. And if you really stop and you start watching them, you're going to notice a trend. One tries to get more sensational than the next. Like I saw a guy the other day on YouTube saying a demon tried to lock him in a crypt. Really, dude? Stop. A demon did not try to lock you in a crypt. You're saying this because you need to get clicks and you need to get subs. Why are you really doing this? Why are we all really doing this? Are we trying to further the field? Are we trying to prove the existence of the afterlife? Or are we trying just to get a bunch of friends together, go out, get drunk, and have a good time? And that's happening a lot in this field.
That's where you can kind of tell, like in my personal opinion, that's how you can tell a ghost hunter from a paranormal investigator.
Right.
Now, a ghost hunter, let's go to this place and look for ghosts and not know what they're doing and try to falsify evidence. Whereas you have your paranormal investigator who also says, hey, let's go look for ghosts. But you're equipped. You know what you're looking for. You debunk most of what you can debunk. And if you get any evidence, you present it. And if not, you shrug it off and you say, better luck next time.
You go with a purpose. You are doing this for a reason. You're not just doing this to get famous and, get, like I said, subs and clicks and blah, 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 blah. That will be a byproduct if you're doing your job right. There's nothing wrong with trying to develop a show. I mean, hey, look, I did it. I mean, I get it. I mean, I get that part. But
Right.
there has to be a larger purpose to this other than just the quest for fame. Because here's the thing, I told you before the show started that I'm not going to make any friends with this book. I actually might make some because I know a lot of people agree with me. But look, all right, I'm gonna put this all out there, and I think I'm gonna get a lot of people shaking their heads. A lot of people want to become well known. A lot of people want to make a mark. A lot of people want to become famous.
Exactly.
It's funny that the paranormal is one of the very few fields where you don't have to sing, you don't have to dance, you don't have to tell a joke on stage, which is harder than it looks, by the way. You don't even have to do a good card trick. All you have to do is sit in the dark with an EVP recorder. And a lot of people think that's all that's all they need to do. If that's all that these people do on TV, then that's all I need to do to be famous like them. And that's why you're seeing these thousands and thousands of web series out there, because people can do it with their phone. They don't even need a camera. They use a phone, right? Am I wrong?
Absolutely right.
Phone quality is pretty good. So are voice recorders on phone.
My thing is there's so much more to the paranormal than just sitting in the dark with a recorder asking questions.
Right.
I mean, if you're just doing that, then you're just hunting. You got to have the passion. You have to have the desire.
Right.
You have to know, hey, this is what my equipment does.
Right.
This is how I run my equipment. And a lot of these people on YouTube will just sit in a room and, hey, do you know you're dead? Do you know what year it is? Do you do this? Do you do that? Did Jesus beat you with a wiffle ball bat?
Right.
And
Silly.
all they want are the clicks and the likes, and it's making us, Bobby, look like monkeys.
And there you have it. You are exactly dead on, pun intended. You are exactly right, Brian. It's making us look bad. So what am I doing now in Family Spirits 2? It's not going to be just me talking. That's the cool thing. Do you know who Brian Cano of Haunted Collector is?
I do.
He's going to be in the book.
Really?
Yes, he's going to be in the book.
Yeah, I tried to get
Exclusive.
old Johnny Zaffis down for
Yes.
an
So,
interview.
yep. So me and Brian are friends, and he agreed to do an interview for Family Spirits too. So you're going to see an exclusive interview with Brian Cano in the book. Archbishop Christina Rake next week. I have she's a Catholic archbishop. She is going to be in the book.
Wow.
She wrote one of the best, believe it or not, she's written one of the best paranormal books no one has ever read. It's she is actually an advocate for the paranormal, but she actually believes we should be doing it, but there are things that she needs to tell people, and that's going to be in Family Spirits too.
That's great.
Yep. There's a lot of psychics out there, but there's one psychic who changed my life and is one of the reasons I got back into the paranormal, because she relayed a message to me from my departed father, which I discussed with you on your last show, Sylvia Rossi. She's never done an interview like this. She's going to be in Family Spirits too, not only talking about my experience, but her background, how she became one of the most trusted psychics on the East Coast. And then I have a Hollywood bad guy who's been in all these Hollywood movies. That he always plays the bad guy turned paranormal psychic, Kevin Kincaid. He's going to be in Family Spirits too. And Reverend Sean Whittington, who the people call him the Rev. He's one of the most popular paranormal clergy in the country. He's going to be in Family Spirits too. So we have a lot of cool stuff in this book.
It sounds like you have a blockbuster lineup here.
All-star cast. And they're all going to be talking about what I was just talking about.
That is great. I am so happy for you, Bobby. I'm thoroughly impressed as well. And there are a lot of people who are watching our show now compared to back when it was Spokane Ghost Talk. So could you possibly give us the run through again about your meeting with the psychic and how she changed your life?
Sure. I'm going to give you a truncated version of it, but it's basically, for years after my father died of pancreatic cancer back in 1983, and it was very, very tough, not only for him, but for us to watch him go through. And for years after he had passed, I was having nightmares that he was still alive in that emaciated cancerous state. People get very thin and,
Yeah.
and he would always appear to me in the dreams in that thin, gaunt, emaciated, cancerous state. It was horrible, and he was very detached in the dreams, and it was almost as though he was very cold, his personality. It just wasn't him. It wasn't him. But I was having these dreams for years and years and years, to the point where I thought that maybe I should go for some kind of counseling or therapy, because I just couldn't get these dreams to stop. Then, during this time, myself and my family, we moved down to the Carolinas. And one day I'm down there and I get a phone call from my sister-in-law, and she's still in New Jersey. And she says, Bobby, she goes, I have something that I got to tell you. I don't know what it's about. I really don't understand it, but I have a message for you. I'm like, her name was Jill. And I was like, well, Jill, what are you talking about? She goes, well, I went for a psychic reading. I said, oh, that's cool. I said, what do I have to do with this? She said, well, now she's 5 states away at the time. Okay. She goes, I'm sitting for the reading. I never mentioned you at all. All of a sudden she stops and she said, a person's coming through by the name of Vince. Do you know of Vince? And my sister-in-law goes, yeah, that's my father-in-law, my father. She said, he has a message for Bobby. Jill goes, Bobby, that's my brother-in-law. She goes, yeah, he really needs to get this this message to him. And Jill goes, what is it? She said, tell Bobby I don't look like that anymore. Tell him that I'm young
Holy
again.
crap.
Yeah. Tell him that I'm young again. Let me tell you, it rocked my world.
I could imagine.
Nobody knew this. Nobody knew I was having those dreams. There's no way anybody could have known. And in that moment, I became a believer. I knew that the afterlife existed. I knew that this psychic was genuine, but more than that, I mean, everything just like boom. I mean, I had investigated back in the 90s, but no evidence could have had this kind of an effect. I mean, this was it. I mean, this was that. Here it is. You wanted to know. Now you know.
That was kind of like the slap in the face to say, hey, wake up and get your butt in gear.
And, you know, not only, and as a result, the dream stopped. That was it. They were done. I never had them again. Maybe like sporadically, like different ones though, but not the same ones that I was having. And I said to myself, I got to get more answers. Now I have to get more answers. I mean, I this would be enough for most people, but I need to know more. And that's why I started doing paranormal investigation again, along with that episode with my kids watching Ghost Adventure. So it was kind of like this, you know, this happened and then this happened and it came together, and this book is the result.
So, in other words, it's kind of like the domino effect.
Yeah, but it was like something was saying you need to do this. This is what you need to be doing. You know, this is my purpose. My purpose is to do this. I believe it. I believe it. It is.
I couldn't agree with you more. You know, and you, I'm sure, have helped so many people in their need of help with the paranormal. And, you know, I have got nothing but the utmost respect for you, Bobby.
Thank you.
I think you're a fantastic person, both in the paranormal and the regular guy.
I feel that way about you, Brian. I feel like I'm part of this family that you're creating too, you know.
Oh, most definite.
You know, because we're paranormal brothers, man, and that's important. You know, we got paranormal unity is what it's all about.
Exactly. And you know, a lot of people will say they're para-unity, you know, and then go about their own ways of, oh, share my stuff, share my stuff, share my stuff, but I'm not going to share your stuff back
all the time.
You're just going to blow me up and make me look huge, and I'm just going to dump on you. And that there's no love in that, you know. I think para-unity, it comes from your heart.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not what you can do for yourself in the field. It's about what you can do with your brothers and your sisters in the field.
Let me give you a good example of that. One of my dear friends in the paranormal world, his name is Greg Backen, and he is the host of Ghostbox Live Radio. And you know, I was scratching my head thinking of who am I going to get to write the foreword to Family Spirits to. And then I said to myself, I mean, the first book we had Fiona Broom, and she's kind of like a paraceleb herself. But it hit me. I was driving and I said to myself, wait a minute, why am I going to try to get somebody famous to do the foreword? I said, you know what? A lot of these people are famous enough. They're already in the spotlight. Let's do something different. Let's get somebody on my level and let's boost each other up. Okay. Let's start creating our own group and lift up our own groups instead of trying to get these people that are already at the top and make them even more famous. So I asked Greg to do the forward to Family Spirits 2. He was thrilled. He's definitely going to do it. That's another exclusive for this show. So if anybody watches Ghost Box Live, Greg Backen is going to be doing the forward to Family Spirits 2, because I believe not only in para-unity, but para-unity amongst your sphere, amongst your friends. Let's get each other where we are now and lift all of us up at the same time.
Exactly. And if you need anything for the book, my brother, I am totally here for you, 110%.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that.
You have got Global United Paranormal Foundation backing you, brother.
Well, this is just being on your show is awesome. I mean, it really is. But yeah, I mean, like Family Spirits too. But I'm telling you, these books aren't going to stop here. I mean, I'm going to have other. I can't think too far in the future. Right now, my focus is on this book. But
Right.
And believe it or not, after this book, I'm going back to the first book and doing a revised version. But after that, I'm sure there's going to be others, because I enjoy writing. I really do. But because a lot of people go, why don't you start a podcast? I said, I don't need to start a podcast. I got Brian James for that. I said, I don't need a podcast. I said, I'm an author. I write the books. I do the web series. Those two things are way more than enough. Oh, and speaking of the web series, in a couple months, I can't disclose the location yet because I can't do that. We got an exclusive investigation at a location notoriously haunted that has never been investigated before. And
Ooh.
yes, they came to me. I couldn't believe it. They want to do this. And I'm like, okay, I'm your man. And Gallo Family Ghost Hunters is going to be, it's a haunted hotel. Still, oh, those things are. Everybody has been at this hotel. FDR has slept there. Babe Ruth has slept there. But this place is crazy haunted, and we will be the first people in there. So any entities in there, this is going to be their very first opportunity to communicate. And usually that's when you get the most activity, because, a lot of these places like the Stanley Hotel have been investigated to death. These spirits are tired of talking, but you go into a place where they've never communicated yet, and they're just tripping over themselves to get onto that EVP recorder. So we're really excited about that.
Virtual high five, dude. Virtual high
Boom.
five. Speaking of bombshell announcements, I actually had somebody seek me out to be on my podcast.
Awesome.
And I've had him on once before. He's coming back on the 28th of January. Christopher McKenna.
Awesome.
And then we have
up from here, man. It's up from here.
We have you ever heard of the Hollywood Ghost Hunters?
Yes.
We actually landed Rick McCollum to come
nice. That's great.
And I was looking at my buddy and I'm like, dude, there's a phone number down here. What should I do? Should I just message or should I call him? He goes, call him. Call him right now.
Yeah.
So I called him up and I gave him my spiel. And me and Rick sat there on the phone for, I kid you not, 2 hours talking like we were best friends.
That's awesome.
And this dude is so phenomenal, Bobby.
That's great.
He's funny. He's a big wrestling fan. So we sat and talked about wrestling for a while.
That's neat. That's great.
And, that actually reminds me, I have a surprise for you.
Okay.
I am the left-hand man in a paranormal magazine called Beyond the Gravestone magazine.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
This is an upcoming magazine. She can't keep copies of it. She sells out of electronically all around the world. And in the next couple days, I'm going to set up a meeting with Christina Corsetti. She does everything herself. The whole magazine is done just by her.
That's awesome.
And I am going to try and score you
Oh, that'd be
a
great.
4 to 6 page spread
Boom.
in this magazine.
It doesn't even have to be that big, but hey, I'll take it. Brian, thank you. I appreciate that.
Very welcome. You are very welcome, Bobby. You were definitely one of my good friends, and that's what we do for each other.
It needs to be that way. I mean, I don't expect anybody to do anything for me. But I do think that, one hand washes the other, basically, and I think we all really need to help each other. This show right now, this goes out on my Twitter, it goes out on my Facebook, it goes out on my MeWe, because I need to promote you, and
well, I better let it be known now. If anybody wants to be on the podcast, hit me up.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're making like incredible advancements already in your show. This is great. This really looks good. Really looks good.
Thank you, Bobby. I very much appreciate that. We decided we wanted to take it a more professional route, and since doing that, I've noticed have gotten more success.
Yep.
And I know I don't look like it, but I can be very professional when need be.
I think you look fine. I think you look professional. Look at me. I'm wearing a sweatshirt. It's a good sweatshirt, American Eagle sweatshirt, but it's a good sweatshirt. Nice. My daughter got it for me, so.
Oh, you got to rep the daughter, man. Right now I'm repping, let's see, purple, pink, and green sparkly toes.
I love it. That's great.
When an 8-year-old comes to you and says, "Daddy, it's toenail time," you can't tell her no. You're gonna break her heart.
Right, exactly. That's great. Good for you, man. That's awesome that you do that for your kids. That's great.
My kids are the world to me, man.
And they should be. I know the feeling. Trust me, I do.
Speaking of kids, you haven't heard the news yet, have you?
Mm-mm.
We're expecting number 3 now.
Ah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. That is great.
Yeah, we broke the December curse. We do not have a December baby this time.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations. That is wonderful news.
Thank you. I got to know, Bobby, what does the future hold for the Gallo family investigative team?
Well, as the kids get older, my kids, we're talking kids on the subject of kids. It's getting harder and harder to get out there because, they have their lives. Courtney, my youngest, she's away to college, and Nikki's all wrapped up in her new boyfriend. And you know how that goes. I didn't roll my eyes. Did I roll my eyes? I didn't do that.
Nope, I didn't see a thing.
Okay, thank you. Bobby. Anybody watching this, I didn't roll my eyes.
I will edit that. I will edit it.
So, like, even this one coming up, I'm going to try to get all 4 of us at this investigation. But if I don't, I don't. I'm going to be there. Yeah. Renee's going to be there. We'll see what happens. But they still want to do it. And it's funny because sometimes it's even hard to get them to come to the Paracons, and you would think that they would want to because they would, who doesn't want to sign autographs from people because people want their autograph. And I tell them all the time, they're like, oh yeah, maybe, I don't know. But I was planning on doing this. I'm like, you have fans that want your autograph. You should go sign books for your fans. But You know,
Boyfriends can wait, girls. Boyfriends can wait.
thank you. Thank you. That is so true. That is so true. Got to do the important things like sign autographs for your fans. But I think we're going to be doing more investigations in the future. But now they're not going to be as rapid fire as they used to be. That's for sure. Because we used to just crank them out. We would crank them out. Now they're going to be kind of like, you know, uh, spaced out a little bit more. But I think they're going to be bigger and they're going to be more important. So, that's where the future is. But we haven't done our last investigation by any stretch of the imagination.
That's fantastic. I really want to see you guys back in action.
Me too.
And if you do get back into the swing of things, which it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
When?
Where are some places that you want to go and investigate?
That's a great question. Well, we're going to be doing this new location that I can't talk about. That's number one. Number two is I want to try to find some unknown locations, not unknown in the sense that no one has ever heard of them, but very few people. There's an old cement factory, believe it or not too far from where I am. And there's a singular full body apparition that is often seen wandering around, and it's the apparition of the original owner. And I want to see if I could bring the team and we could contact this guy or maybe get his photograph, because we've gotten photographs before when we were looking for them of apparitions. So we're going to try to do that. There's an old haunted hotel in Saylorsburg, PA that we're going to try to get into. And the family actually wants to go back to Salem, and they want to go back to St. Augustine, Florida. And if you know anything about St. Augustine, Florida, that's America's most haunted city. You could spend weeks there. You're never going to see it all. And you're never going to communicate with all the ghosts because they're everywhere. There's so many spots in that town that are not just haunted, but like notoriously haunted. So yeah, St. Augustine again, Salem again. I mean, we've done them once before, but that was a long time ago. Everybody's older now, and there's still places in those cities we haven't hit, so we're probably going to go back there.
Nice. Speaking of Salem, Mass, that's actually where my best friend Christina's from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's Italian, and man, she's one of my best friends.
Well, I'm Italian too.
No wonder why we get along. I just attract the Italian.
Hey, I'm only Italian. I'm nothing else. I'm only Italian. Somebody just commented in Russian. So somebody's watching us from Russia.
Awesome. Welcome to the show. Thank you for watching.
Das vidanya. That means goodbye, I think.
Hopefully you didn't just say something offensive.
I hope not either. We have an international incident on this show.
Oh no. But Christina, I was actually led to her by offering a team a spot on my podcast. And in issue 8, that's where our spread's gonna be, our 4-page spread. And she's putting an ad for the podcast in there and an ad for the team in there for free. And then it was just let out of the bag that this pretty face will be on the cover of issue number 8.
That's awesome. Fantastic. Congrats to her.
Super stoked for this one. I'm actually, gonna dress up, and I might even do my makeup,
There you go. Wax the beard. Wax the beard.
Right. Ain't nothing wrong with the little guy liner. It's still the 80s, right?
Yep. You know what? Yeah, a little eyeliner actually does make your eyes look much better on these things. So I should probably do that on my next podcast. Oh, I used to do it on stage, so I mean, it's not like I don't know how to do it. But
Right.
I guess before we wrap it up, can I give some information out to the viewing audience?
Oh, by all means.
Okay, cool. You know, I got to start a link tree. You know what link tree is? It's like this.
Oh, phenomenal.
I got to do that, and then this way I can have all my stuff in one URL. But like GalloFamilyGhostHunters.com, boom, it's all right there. But I don't have that yet, folks. So basically, FamilySpiritsBook.com. If you want to buy the first book, Family Spirits, you can still buy it on FamilySpiritsBook.com. Or you can just go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble or Books A Million website and order it. And our web series, most important. We are on YouTube, but the best experience is on Vimeo, which is ghosthunter.ws. That's ghosthunter.ws. If you go there, you can see the entire series in 1080 HD. Yeah, that's our Vimeo channel. That's definitely the best place to watch it. And please subscribe to us on Vimeo. I know it's a pain. You got to sign up for Vimeo. It's free. It's just like YouTube. And then then you sub. But if you do it, we will really appreciate it.
Heck yeah.
It's hard to get Vimeo subs. It really is.
You know, you're the first person that's ever talked about Vimeo.
Well, the reason nobody does Vimeo is you have to pay for it. Vimeo is that's actually the hosting service for Roku. So all these people that have Roku channels, in order to have a Roku channel, you have to have all your stuff on Vimeo, because Vimeo is actually who hosts it for Roku TV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you actually have to pay a yearly fee to be on Vimeo. But people that are on Vimeo, it's considered kind of like a little cut above, because it's 1080 HD. There's no compression. Like if you watch a YouTube video, it's a little fuzzy sometimes.
Yeah.
Vimeo is television quality, but you have to pay for it. But the nice thing is that there's no ads unless you run them yourself. And you can do whatever you want on Vimeo, and you're not going to be in violation of terms of service because it's your channel. So that's why we went the Vimeo route.
I definitely think I'm going to talk to the team about that one.
Yeah, the quality is, you cannot beat the quality. You just can't.
I got to ask you a question, Bobby.
Sure. Go ahead.
Now, when you're on Facebook and you're talking about ghosts and spirits and people roll their eyes at you, or, blah, 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 how would you feel about signing up for a platform that is just for the paranormal? It's just like Facebook, and there is no drama whatsoever.
You must be talking about parapost.net.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to sign up for that. Absolutely. I want to be a part of it.
If you could, share it with all your friends. It's Apple. You can get there on Apple. You can get there on Android. You can get there on a laptop, a computer. I mean, it's only 6-7 months old. It's had over 30,000 viewers already.
That's awesome. Okay, absolutely.
It is just the most phenomenal site I've ever been on. And if you need any help with anything, Brian Laverty is the guy that runs it, and he is one of the most nicest guys you'll ever talk to.
That sounds awesome. Absolutely. Done deal. Parapost.net, folks. I'm going to be there. You got to be there.
That's right. Everybody got to follow Bobby Gallo, the Messiah of the paranormal.
Ah. Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't know. I think no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. No. I was going to say one of these big paracelebs I think thinks he's the Messiah of the paranormal, but I'm not going to say it. I'm just
Baggins. Excuse me. Ugh, damn
pause,
cold.
pause, pause.
Oh, you got that cold too.
Yeah,
Dang.
yeah, yeah.
Going around, going around. Well, Bobby, it has been phenomenal having you on the show, brother,
Thank you.
again. And I definitely would like to do another round with you. I know you're probably tired of my ugly mug.
No, not at all. I'll tell you what. Let's do it when Family Spirits 2 gets published, and then we'll have a great subject for the show.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Let's plan that.
And I definitely need to get a hold of you on Facebook or Twitter, give you my phone number. That way, we can call each other
Sure.
and keep in contact.
Okay.
'Cause I
That would be
gotta
great. That'd be
say,
great, Brian. Absolutely, anytime. And just one last thing for your listeners too. And this is going back to the whole Vimeo thing. If you do have Roku or Amazon Fire Stick, go to the Vimeo channel, the Vimeo app on Roku or Amazon Fire Stick, and you could watch Gallo Family Ghost Hunters on Vimeo on TV. And I mean, I know people can do that with YouTube too, but if that's really where you can see the difference between YouTube and Vimeo if you watch it on TV, because wow, it's just like seriously, it's like you have another ghost hunting show to watch and you don't have to pay for it.
oh, heck yeah. And before we end, I just want to let everybody know one more time for awesome equipment that's very affordable. Go to deesghosts.com, enter paranormal EQ. You get 10% off your first order. And, we are sponsored by Dees Ghosts. And, we also sponsor them. They sponsor us. So go check them out. Spread the word around. You guys won't be disappointed.
Sounds great.
Well, all right, Bobby. Well, I'm going to go ahead and throw you in the back. Stay back there. And if you'd like, we'll conversate some more.
I'm good. I'm good. I actually I got to get some sleep. I got to get up tomorrow, and
Uh-oh.
and believe it or not, I'm gonna be the Magic Man tomorrow.
Very nice.
Yep,
Very nice.
I'm gonna be
The
the
next
Magic.
time you're on my show, you better be prepared to do a couple tricks.
I'll see what I could do. I'll see what I could do on camera, and we'll do something. We'll do something.
Awesome. Well,
All right.
like always, Bobby, it's phenomenal to have you on my show, buddy. And we'll definitely catch you next time.
Excellent. Thanks, Brian. And as always, I had a great time.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear it, bud. You
All right,
take
man.
care.
You too. And give my best to your family, please.
Will do.
All right.
All right. Talk to you later. All right, guys. So that wraps up Shadow Zone for tonight. Make sure to tune in tomorrow night, same time, 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, 3 o'clock in the morning in the UK, and I can't tell you any other times. And like I said, go check out Parapost Network. It is phenomenal, just like Facebook, but better. And go check out our sponsor, deesghost.com. Use promo code paranormaleq, and you will get 10% off your first order. And that's going to do it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. From all of us here at ShadowZone and a Global United Paranormal Foundation. Have a ghoulish night, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.